I'm Linda Kincaid in Atlanta, and this is CNN. Ahead at the international desk, the U.S. responds to North Korea's missile test. The Kremlin talks about its priorities for meeting with President Trump, and the picture of Emmanuel Macron that lit up Twitter. Welcome, I'm Linda Kincaid. The world is weighing its options after the US confirmed that North Korea did in fact launch a long-range missile. The US has called an emergency meeting on the UN Security Council in the coming hours. On the North Korean state media, Kim Jong-un called the launch a gift for the Yankees on Independence Day. And he promised more. We're going to talk more about North Korea's missile tests with Sue Mi Terry, a former CIA analyst who recently took part in talks with representatives of North Korea. She joins us now from Seoul. Great to have you with us. The U.S. now confirming that this was an intercontinental ballistic missile. North Korea calling it a gift for the Yankees. This is a game changer, right?
It is a symbolic game changer in that the United States was always, we didn't want this to happen, obviously. Mr. Trump, in fact, said this isn't going to happen when he tweeted this. But now North Korea has first successfully tested an intercontinental ballistic missile that can hit all of Alaska. So yes, it is a symbolic game changer.
President Trump's main strategy so far has been to rely on China, North Korea's greatest ally. He says that's failed despite the sanctions, and today he pointed out on Twitter it comes as trade between the two countries has actually risen. Here he says trade between China and North Korea has grown by almost 40% in the first quarter. He's comparing this to this time last year. So much for China working with us, but we had to give it a try. What can President Trump do to nudge China to do more, or should the U.S. give up on that avenue?
Well, honestly, every single U.S. president dealing with North Korean problem tried to get China to do more to rein in North Korea. But any North Korea watcher expected that China was not going to really rein in North Korea because China's interests and strategies for North Korea is fundamentally different from ours. While they don't want nukes, they still fear more of instability, collapse in North Korea, or even unification. So China is not going to really pressure North Korea. So I do think Mr. Trump gave Mr. Xi Jinping a bit of a chance, but now he's going to pursue probably secondary sanctions against Chinese banks and entities that do illicit business with North Korea.
So let's look at the response so far. We've seen the U.S. and South Korea carry out military drills, and we've seen Russia and China come together and call for a de-escalation. What do you make of those two separate blocs?
Well, that's also very expected. I mean, there's only so many things that the U.S. can do to show that this is not okay, and that's show force, talk to our allies, coordinate closely with allies, and then try to pressure the regime through sanctions. And China and Russia predictably says, no, we need to now get back to talks and we need to de-escalate. But the problem is North Koreans do not want to talk to us anymore about denuclearization. They have repeatedly said, and Kim Jong-un said it yesterday after he tested this ICBM. Denuclearization is off the table. We're not giving up nuclear weapons. There's no reason to talk about this anymore. So I'm not sure when China and Russia keep saying we need to get back to talks, to talk about what?
South Korea certainly wants dialogue with North Korea. You say after meeting with the North Koreans that they don't want to talk. It's a waste of time. So what else can the U.S. do? What can the world do?
Well, again, we don't have a lot of good options. Now, President Moon Jae-in obviously wanted some sort of engagement and dialogue with the North. But again, North is not cooperating. North Korea is not giving President Moon a chance. And in fact, and just by continuing with more missile tests and provocations like this, he's closing that window that President Moon has to pursue dialogue. Because how can South Korea pursue dialogue with North Korea when North Korea acts like this? But in terms of response, it is going to be just more pressure because what we have not done is really pursue secondary sanctions against Chinese banks and third-party entities that do business with North Korea. So I expect that's what Mr. Trump is going to do. The Trump administration is going to pursue that course.
There's certainly a lot of frustration. I can hear that frustration in your voice.
Yes.
I have to leave it there for now.
Very frustrated. Been working on this for over 2 decades. Thank you.
No worries. Sumi Terry, good to have your perspective. Thank you very much.
Thank you.